Attraction is often misunderstood as something flashy or performative, but at its core, it is deeply emotional and psychological. Many people assume attraction is built through impressive gestures, rehearsed lines, or exaggerated confidence. In reality, lasting attraction grows from emotional connection, the sense that two people genuinely see and understand each other. When someone feels emotionally connected to you, they experience comfort, trust, and curiosity all at once. That emotional resonance is far more powerful than any surface-level attempt to impress. Emotional connection begins with presence. In a world full of distractions, giving someone your undivided attention is rare and meaningful. When you are fully engaged in a conversation, listening carefully, responding thoughtfully, and showing curiosity, you communicate that the other person matters. This simple act of focused attention creates a subtle but strong sense of validation. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel valued and acknowledged. Attraction grows when someone feels they are not competing with your phone, your ego, or your need to perform, but are instead sharing a moment of genuine human connection. Another important aspect of emotional attraction is empathy. Empathy allows you to step outside your own perspective and appreciate someone else's experiences and feelings. When a woman shares something personal, whether it's a success she's proud of or a frustration she's dealing with, responding with empathy shows emotional intelligence. It signals that you are capable of understanding complexity and respecting vulnerability. This creates a safe emotional space where openness can flourish. Safety is a key ingredient in attraction. People are more drawn to those who make them feel secure enough to be themselves. Surface-level tactics often fail because they focus on performance rather than authenticity. When someone is trying too hard to impress, it can create distance instead of closeness. Emotional connection, on the other hand, is built on sincerity. Authentic behavior communicates confidence without arrogance. It shows that you are comfortable with who you are and do not need to hide behind exaggerated personas. Authenticity invites the other person to relax and respond in kind, creating a mutual exchange that feels natural and energizing. Respect also plays a central role in emotional attraction. Respect is demonstrated through how you speak, how you listen, and how you respond to boundaries. When you treat someone's opinions and feelings as important, you elevate the quality of the interaction. Respect fosters equality, and equality strengthens connection. Attraction is not about overpowering or persuading someone. It is about engaging with them as a whole person. When respect is present, conversations become richer and more meaningful, and emotional bonds deepen. Emotional connection also thrives on curiosity. Showing interest in someone's thoughts, passions, and experiences communicates that you see them as unique and worth knowing. Asking thoughtful questions and remembering small details demonstrates care and attentiveness. These behaviors create a sense of being appreciated on an individual level. Attraction intensifies when someone feels recognized for who they truly are rather than being treated as interchangeable. Finally, emotional attraction is sustainable. Flashy tactics may create brief excitement, but they rarely build the foundation for long-term interest. Emotional connection, however, grows stronger over time. Each meaningful interaction adds another layer of trust and familiarity. This steady development creates a sense of anticipation and comfort that draws people closer. When attraction is rooted in emotional understanding, it becomes resilient and enduring. In essence, attraction is less about spectacle and more about substance. It emerges from presence, empathy, authenticity, respect, and curiosity. These qualities transform ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges that foster genuine connection. When emotional connection becomes the focus, Attraction stops being something you try to manufacture and instead becomes a natural result of how you relate to others. The phrase "I understand" carries a quiet but remarkable power in human interaction because it speaks directly to one of our deepest emotional needs, the need to feel seen and heard. When someone hears these words and believes they are genuine, it creates a bridge of empathy between two people. This bridge is not built on grand gestures or dramatic expressions, but on the simple act of acknowledging another person's inner experience. In relationships and conversations, that acknowledgement can instantly change the emotional tone, making interactions warmer, safer, and more engaging. When you say "I understand," you are signaling that you are actively listening rather than passively waiting to respond. Active listening involves more than hearing words. It requires attention to tone, emotion, and context. It means noticing subtle cues and responding in a way that reflects comprehension. When a woman shares a story about her day, a challenge she faced, or something meaningful to her, responding with understanding communicates respect. It shows that you are invested in her perspective. This investment fosters trust, and trust is a central pillar of attraction. However, the effectiveness of these words depends entirely on authenticity. Empty or automatic responses can feel dismissive rather than supportive. Genuine understanding requires curiosity and patience. It may involve asking clarifying questions, reflecting back what you heard, or acknowledging emotions directly. When you demonstrate that you are making an effort to grasp her feelings, you validate her experience. Validation does not mean you must agree with everything she says. It means you recognize that her emotions are real and important. That recognition creates emotional safety. Emotional safety is a powerful attractor because it allows vulnerability. People are naturally cautious about revealing their true thoughts and feelings. When someone feels understood, their defenses soften. They become more open, expressive, and relaxed. This openness deepens connection and creates a sense of intimacy that cannot be achieved through surface-level conversation. The phrase "I understand" acts as an invitation to share more, to explore ideas and emotions without fear of judgment. Another important dimension of this phrase is its ability to reduce conflict and misunderstanding. In moments of disagreement or tension, expressing understanding can de-escalate emotions. It communicates that you are not trying to win an argument, but to appreciate another perspective. This approach transforms conversations from confrontations into collaborations. When a woman feels that her viewpoint is being considered rather than dismissed, she is more likely to engage constructively. This cooperative dynamic strengthens mutual respect and attraction. Saying "I understand" also reflects emotional maturity. It shows that you are comfortable engaging with feelings, both your own and those of others. Emotional maturity is attractive because it suggests stability and reliability. It indicates that you can navigate complex interpersonal situations with calmness and empathy. When you consistently respond with understanding, you create a pattern of supportive behavior. Over time, this pattern builds a reputation of trustworthiness and care. The phrase also encourages reciprocity. When someone feels understood, they are more inclined to extend the same courtesy in return. This mutual exchange of empathy creates a balanced relationship dynamic. Both people feel valued and appreciated, which reinforces emotional bonds. Attraction flourishes in environments where empathy flows in both directions, creating a sense of partnership rather than competition. Importantly, understanding is an ongoing process, not a one-time statement. It requires continuous effort and attentiveness. Each conversation offers an opportunity to deepen insight into another person's world. By approaching interactions with openness and a willingness to learn, you demonstrate respect for complexity. This respectful curiosity keeps conversations fresh and engaging. Ultimately, the phrase "I understand" is powerful because it encapsulates empathy, attention, and respect in just 2 words. When spoken sincerely and supported by attentive behavior, it transforms ordinary exchanges into meaningful connections. It reassures the other person that their thoughts and feelings matter, fostering trust and emotional closeness. Through this simple expression of empathy, attraction emerges naturally as a byproduct of genuine human connection. Feeling heard is one of the most powerful emotional experiences a person can have, and it plays a central role in creating emotional safety and trust. When someone truly feels heard, they sense that their thoughts, emotions, and experiences are being received with care and attention. This feeling is not created by simply nodding along or offering quick responses. It emerges when a listener is fully present, patient, and open. Emotional safety begins in that moment of attentive listening, where judgment is set aside and curiosity takes its place. Emotional safety means that a person feels comfortable expressing themselves without fear of ridicule, dismissal, or misunderstanding. When a woman feels heard in a conversation, she experiences a sense of acceptance. She recognizes that her voice carries weight and that her perspective is valued. This validation reduces anxiety and encourages openness. People are naturally drawn to environments where they can be authentic, and emotional safety provides exactly that environment. It allows conversations to move beyond superficial topics into deeper, more meaningful territory. Trust grows steadily from this foundation of safety. Each time someone feels heard and respected, a small deposit is made into what could be called an emotional trust account. Over time, these deposits accumulate. Consistent listening demonstrates reliability and care. It signals that you are someone who can be counted on to engage thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Trust is not built through grand promises. It is built through repeated moments of attentive presence. An important aspect of making someone feel heard is reflective communication. This involves acknowledging what the other person has shared and responding in a way that shows comprehension. Simple gestures like paraphrasing their thoughts or recognizing their emotions communicate that you are actively processing their words. When a woman senses that you are not just hearing sounds but truly understanding meaning, she feels respected. Respect reinforces safety, and safety deepens trust. Feeling heard also reduces emotional tension. Many people carry unspoken stress or frustration, and having a space where they can express these feelings without interruption is deeply relieving. When you provide that space, you become associated with calm and reassurance. This association strengthens emotional bonds. Attraction is often linked to how someone makes us feel, and being around a person who fosters peace and understanding is naturally appealing. Another key element is patience. Conversations that build emotional safety are not rushed. They allow pauses, reflection, and thoughtful responses. Patience communicates that you are willing to invest time and energy into understanding another person. This investment signals importance. When a woman feels that you are not hurrying her or minimizing her experiences, she interprets that patience as care. Care nurtures trust, and trust invites deeper connection. Nonverbal communication also plays a significant role in making someone feel heard. Eye contact, attentive posture, and calm expressions reinforce verbal messages of understanding. These cues show engagement and sincerity. When verbal and nonverbal signals align, they create a coherent message of attentiveness. This coherence strengthens credibility and reinforces emotional safety. Importantly, feeling heard encourages reciprocity. When someone experiences the comfort of being understood, they are more likely to extend the same attentiveness in return. This mutual exchange creates a balanced dynamic where both people feel supported. Balanced relationships are more resilient because they are built on shared empathy and respect. Emotional safety does not mean avoiding difficult conversations. In fact, it enables them. When trust is present, disagreements can be explored without threatening the relationship. Feeling heard during conflict reassures both parties that their perspectives matter. This reassurance prevents defensiveness and promotes collaboration. It transforms challenges into opportunities for growth rather than sources of division. Ultimately, making someone feel heard is an act of generosity and awareness. It requires setting aside distractions, suspending judgment, and engaging with genuine curiosity. When you consistently offer this level of attention, you create a space where emotional safety and trust can flourish. In that space, people feel free to express their true selves. Attraction grows naturally in such an environment because it is rooted in authenticity and mutual respect. Feeling heard is not just a communication skill. It is a cornerstone of meaningful human connection. Most people enter conversations carrying an unspoken hope. They want their feelings to be acknowledged and accepted before anything else. While advice and problem solving have their place, what many people truly seek in emotional moments is validation. Validation is the act of recognizing and affirming another person's feelings as understandable and important. It communicates, "Your experience makes sense," without rushing to correct, fix, or minimize it. This simple act has a profound impact on how connected and supported someone feels. When a woman shares a concern or frustration, the instinct for many people is to immediately search for solutions. They may offer suggestions, strategies, or quick fixes, believing they are being helpful. However, this problem-solving approach can sometimes feel dismissive if it comes too soon. Before someone is ready to think about solutions, they often need space to process their emotions. Jumping straight to advice can unintentionally signal that their feelings are obstacles to be removed rather than experiences to be understood. Validation slows the conversation down in a healthy way. It prioritizes emotional recognition over efficiency. When you respond with statements that acknowledge feelings, such as recognizing disappointment, excitement, or stress, you demonstrate empathy. This empathy reassures the other person that their inner world is being taken seriously. Feeling validated reduces emotional intensity and creates a sense of calm. Once emotions are acknowledged, people are often more open to exploring practical solutions together. Another reason validation is so powerful is that it strengthens a person's sense of self-worth. When someone feels that their emotions are respected, they are less likely to doubt their reactions or feel embarrassed by them. This acceptance fosters confidence and openness. In contrast, when emotions are quickly dismissed or overshadowed by advice, people may feel misunderstood or judged. That feeling can create distance and defensiveness, making genuine connection harder to achieve. Validation also encourages deeper communication. When a woman feels safe expressing her emotions without being rushed towards solutions, she is more likely to share additional thoughts and insights. Conversations become richer and more meaningful because they are not limited to surface-level exchanges. This depth allows both people to understand each other more fully. Attraction and trust grow in these moments of authentic sharing, where emotional experiences are explored rather than hurried past. Importantly, validation does not mean agreeing with everything someone says or abandoning practical thinking. It simply means recognizing that emotions are real and worthy of attention. You can validate feelings while still holding your own perspective. For example, acknowledging that someone feels upset does not require you to adopt the same viewpoint. It only requires you to respect their emotional reality. This balance preserves honesty while maintaining empathy. Validation also plays a key role in conflict resolution. During disagreements, people often become focused on defending their positions. If one person pauses to validate the other's feelings, tension can decrease significantly. Feeling understood softens defensiveness and opens the door to constructive dialogue. When both parties feel validated, they are more willing to collaborate on solutions rather than compete to be right. Another important aspect of validation is patience. Emotional experiences are complex and cannot always be resolved quickly. By allowing someone the time and space to express themselves fully, you communicate that their feelings are not inconveniences. This patience conveys care and attentiveness. Over time, consistent validation builds a reputation of emotional reliability. A woman who feels consistently validated in conversations will associate you with safety and understanding. Once validation has been established, solutions can be introduced more effectively. After emotions have been acknowledged, the other person is often more receptive to suggestions. At that point, problem solving becomes a shared effort rather than an imposed directive. Both people can explore options collaboratively, guided by mutual respect and understanding. Ultimately, the desire for validation reflects a fundamental human need, the need to feel seen and accepted. When you prioritize validation over immediate solutions, you honor that need. You create conversations that are grounded in empathy and presence. In these conversations, emotional barriers dissolve and genuine connection emerges. Validation transforms interactions from mechanical exchanges of advice into meaningful moments of understanding. It is through this understanding that trust deepens, attraction strengthens, and relationships become more resilient and fulfilling. Genuine listening is one of the most underrated yet powerful qualities in human interaction, and it is often far more attractive than constant talking. Many people assume that being interesting means being the most talkative person in the room, filling silence with stories, opinions, and humor. While expressive communication has its place, attraction is more deeply connected to how well someone listens. When a woman encounters a person who truly listens, she experiences a rare sense of importance and appreciation. That experience leaves a lasting impression. Genuine listening begins with intention. It requires a conscious decision to focus on the other person rather than on what you plan to say next. In many conversations, people are mentally rehearsing their responses while the other person is still speaking. This habit divides attention and weakens connection. True listening means setting aside that internal dialogue and giving full presence to the speaker. When someone feels that your attention is undivided, they sense respect. Respect is inherently attractive because it communicates maturity and consideration. Listening also reveals emotional intelligence. When you listen carefully, you pick up on subtle cues in tone, pace, and expression. These cues provide insight into how someone is feeling beyond the literal meaning of their words. Responding to those emotional signals shows awareness and empathy. A woman who feels emotionally understood is more likely to feel comfortable and connected. This comfort creates a positive emotional association with your presence. Another important aspect of listening is restraint. Silence in conversation is often uncomfortable for people, leading them to fill every gap with speech. However, allowing pauses can be powerful. Silence gives space for reflection and signals patience. It shows that you are not rushing the interaction or trying to dominate it. This calm presence can be deeply appealing because it contrasts with the fast-paced interruption-filled conversations many people experience daily. Genuine listening also encourages openness. When a woman realizes that her thoughts are being received without interruption or judgment, she becomes more willing to share. This openness deepens the conversation and creates opportunities for meaningful exchange. Instead of skimming the surface of topics, you explore ideas, feelings, and experiences in greater depth. These deeper conversations foster intimacy and trust, both of which are essential components of attraction. In contrast, constant talking can unintentionally create distance. When someone dominates a conversation, it can feel like a performance rather than an interaction. Even if the stories are entertaining, the imbalance may leave the other person feeling sidelined. Attraction weakens when someone feels unheard or overshadowed. Listening restores balance by making the conversation collaborative rather than one-sided. Another benefit of genuine listening is that it improves the quality of your responses. When you fully understand what someone is saying, your replies become more thoughtful and relevant. Instead of generic comments, you can engage directly with the substance of the conversation. This relevance demonstrates attentiveness and intelligence. A woman is more likely to feel engaged when she senses that her words are influencing the direction of the discussion. Listening also communicates humility. It shows that you value learning from another person and are not solely focused on presenting yourself. This humility is attractive because it suggests confidence without arrogance. A person who listens well appears secure enough to share conversational space. That security creates an atmosphere of ease and mutual respect. Nonverbal behavior reinforces genuine listening. Maintaining eye contact, nodding occasionally, and adopting an open posture signal engagement. These cues work alongside verbal responses to create a cohesive message of attentiveness. When verbal and nonverbal signals align, they strengthen credibility and trust. Importantly, genuine listening is not passive. It is an active process that involves curiosity and participation. Asking thoughtful follow-up questions, reflecting on what has been said, and expressing interest all contribute to dynamic interaction. This active engagement transforms listening into a shared experience rather than a silent observation. Over time, consistent listening builds a reputation of reliability and care. A woman who feels consistently heard will associate you with emotional safety and understanding. This association strengthens attraction because it fulfills a fundamental human desire, the desire to be acknowledged and valued. Ultimately, genuine listening elevates conversation from simple exchange to meaningful connection. It communicates respect, empathy, patience, and humility all at once. While talking can display personality, listening reveals character, and it is character expressed through attentive presence that creates the strongest and most enduring form of attraction.